Medical Services at the New Jersey Department of Health. Going to just welcome.
I had the great opportunity yesterday to spend 4 hours on site meeting with a majority of you. For those of you I didn't get a chance to meet after late afternoon, welcome. We're super happy to have you. As you know, New Jersey and New York is at the epicenter for COVID, and our EMS response has been extremely robust, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for leaving your homes and your families to join us for this mission. We're very pleased to have you, and if there's anything that I can do, please reach out through your command. You certainly, I don't want to upset the command, but work through your command if you need any issues or any unresolved issues. We're going to talk about some of those today. I'll be here for a few hours to answer any questions. If there's any individual concerns, I'll be happy to talk to you. But like I said, work through your command, and we'll do what we can to make sure that you guys are safe and you're able to give good care. So with that, let's go.
Thank you. And our incident commander from the New Jersey EMS Task Force is Michael Vasco. Mike.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I won't repeat everything Perry said. That was much of what I was going to speak of as well, but I'd like to thank everybody because it takes a lot. It says a lot about your dedication, commitment to raise your hand to come to New Jersey in the shadow of the Statue of Liberty, which is the epicenter for this horrible disease. So it says a lot, and I really want to thank you on behalf of our team. I'd also ask everybody to just take a moment. I'd like to read off the names of the 11 EMTs we've lost here in New Jersey to COVID since this began. Israel Tolentino, Deanna Saab, Kevin Diva, Frank Molinari, Solomon Donald, Scott Yeager, John Ferrarella, Ruben Mera, Robert Weber, Robert Tarrant, and John Caressia. So you just take them one at a time. Thank you. So what's going to happen, we have a lot to do this morning in a short period of time. We're going to go through a couple of presentations here, briefings here, and then we'll break up into your host agencies. You're going to get New Jersey EMS. So you're going to learn New Jersey EMS real quick. Might be a little different from where you're from, but we appreciate you coming here and learning from us. And one of I'd like to introduce next is John Gremowicz. He's really the founder of the New Jersey EMS Task Force. He's the chairman of our advisory board. But you'll be working with him, or a large group of you will be working with him as his host agency in the city of Newark University Hospital.
Thanks, Mike. All I want to say is we will be forever indebted to each of you for coming out here and helping us through this crisis. I can tell you for the last 10 days how much it's meant to us in Newark to have your folks here helping us out. I think they will at the end of their rope. I mean, we had so many trucks out of service, so many people already sick, and to have you guys and gals here for the last 10 days, and it feels like every one of you is actually works for us and been a part of us all this time. It just means very, very much for all of us here to have that relief. So I know I speak on behalf of University Hospital Newark, Jersey City, and all the agencies that have accepted your generous help. We couldn't be more grateful. While you're here, please be careful. Be safe. Until you go home. And just as healthy as you are here today. Thanks again. And anything I can do personally to make any of your stay better, my number will be available to you over the whole time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. I'd now like to introduce Frank in testimony. He is our situation unit lead for the EMS Task Force. He's going to give you a quick briefing of what's occurred over the last 7 weeks into this now.
Hello, welcome. again, we really appreciate you being here. I can't say how much it means to us. And just let you guys know a little bit about what you're getting into. To date, since the 10th of April. Your counterparts have...
Can you speak up a little louder because we can't hear you back here?
Sure,
very well.
sure. So, to date, since the 10th of April, your counterparts have been dispatched to over 4,000 calls. Among them, over 2,000 transports, including close to 200 cardiac arrests. They've been primarily operating in the northeast quadrant of New Jersey, Bergen, Passaic, Hudson, Union, Essex, and Middlesex counties. Total personnel, there's almost 700 people who now have responded in New Jersey with 175 units. Just to give you a little idea of the process, the New Jersey EMS Task Force has been liaisoning with the AMR command staff. As requests come in, the New Jersey EMS Task Force relays that to AMR, and then we work on getting you assigned and deployed. Once you're deployed, you'll have a local brief with the local agency who will get you outfitted with any equipment you may need, radios, etc. And I'll just end with, look out for one another. If at any point you're feeling stressed, please be sure to reach out. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank. Henry Cordigans is our state planner for the EMS side. Henry?
Morning, everybody. Listen, I'm the guy that coughs all the time, all right? I don't have COVID. You don't have to back away. Everything's going to be okay. So it is what it is. I work as a state planner of the EMS Task Force. Listen, thank you very much for all coming out. We really sincerely appreciate it. I am working with your command staff over at AMR. I'm liaisoning with your commander called Dragon. I guess his parents grew up in the 60s. I would never name my kid Dragon, but it is what it is. No, he goes by Dragon. That's his last name. So we have to laugh, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't laugh, we ain't going to make it, okay? So it is what it is. Other than that, you guys are going to be servicing the urban areas of New Jersey at some point in time. Currently, we have our initial wave 1 of 75 National Ambulance Contract units operating, and they've been working very hard and doing a lot of tremendous work. At some point in time, they are going to expire. Their service contract is for about 2 weeks. I have no filter. I lost it about 2 months ago. So anyway. They're going to go home. They're going to go home in a couple days, all right? So when they go home, you guys are going to take over. You understand what I'm saying? So you're going to be going into Newark, Jersey City, Irvington, East Orange. Google them if you're not familiar with the environments. Elizabeth, New Brunswick, the North Hudson region of Hudson County, etc. So you're going to be working in the densest parts of the United States, okay? So anyway, you should expect that. Other than that, what's that? You're not, yes, you're not dense. They're definitely not dense. Other than that, listen, if you need anything, I'll be around. I'll be checking in on everybody in all the jurisdictions. Please be safe, and let me tell you something. Those first 75 units, they're definitely making a difference, and you guys will as well. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Henry. Frank Guthrie is the director of EMS here at New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority at the Meadowlands. She's unable to be here as most of her team is actually laying one of their own to rest this morning. But we would like to thank the NJSEA team for hosting us here and allowing us to be here as part of their operations. So if you happen to see them, I know Tony's in the back. If anything from NJSEA that they can help you with while you're here on site, please feel free to reach out to them. I believe, of course, it doesn't recognize the masks. You all noticed that on the iPhones? Kevin Anderson from AMR is the operations chief, I believe. Is, who knows what your title is, right? He's the guy who's going to tell you the things that you need to know. So here you go.
Thank you, guys. So I work for Dragon. His first name is Brett. So I'm his deputy. First and foremost, thank you guys very much for coming out. I know for a lot of people, especially from the West Coast, it was a long travel day, a lot of driving, either from Stone Mountain or from your home area. So today is the beginning of normalcy for you guys. So our goal is to put you on 12s, be it day or night. So in another day and a half, then that's a point at which this will kind of make more sense, okay? So I'd also like to thank all the folks from New Jersey. Working with the task force has been an absolute pleasure. We're not used to such easy working with our counterparts on the state side. So coming into this environment, I can tell you from my experience, it is like nothing we've ever done. This isn't a hurricane. The mission typings are not what we normally do. The first 75 units never came back to staging. So if you have a preconceived notion from previous deployments of what to expect here, erase them. This is not what we have been doing for the last 10 or so days. As far as the impacting of the 911 system and running system calls, that has been the mission objective since the first units left. So it's just different. So we understand from our side, there's going to be a learning curve. That's why all the state representatives are a part of this process to make sure that when you go to a specific area, you will be briefed by that area from a communication standpoint, from an expectation standpoint, from these are how a 911 call is dispatched and what assets will be going to it. So some of that stuff is very location specific. So when you do get that mission, you'll be given that at that time. Lloyd's going to talk about the EMS, the medical side, as far as refusals, how that process works, all the phone numbers that you should have been given at check-in. If you haven't, we'll provide those to you guys after the briefing. One of the things that's changed since we initially deployed is PPE in general. Today is a golden opportunity to make sure that all the ambulances here have appropriate level of not only PPE but oxygen. The big white tent, the rider trucks, that's logistics. So if you have any needs, let's address them now before you get tasked with a mission. To go forward, now that we're past the initial 72 hours of this deployment, all the restocks will be done by either the local hospital or local agency. So it's a one-for-one restock. So whatever you're leaving with today, you'll be restocked going forward by those local areas. 214s. So did you guys get the QR codes?
Yes.
So the QR codes are how we're tracking everything, both from an ALS standpoint, narcotics, to your daily 214s that need to be done. The only thing that's actually paper is the PCRs. So we're using paper PCRs, and some of the local agencies are also having you do their PCR as well. So that's one of those other things that's very local specific, okay? Again, welcome. After this, both Brett and I will be over at the RV, so if you have any one-off questions, we'll be happy to answer those and make sure that the basic information as far as the QR codes, the phone numbers, all that stuff, take a picture of it, we'll make sure everybody has it, okay? So with that, Lloyd. Thank you, guys.
Morning, everybody. My name's Lyle. I'll be your medical whatever dude, I guess. Some of the things we want to talk about is the patient care guidelines. So we're going to follow your typical patient care guidelines where you're coming from. That's what you're used to operating. So if you are an advanced EMT and you are on a placarded ALS rig, then you can work up to your level of care as an advanced EMT. And just please chime in at any minute. So that means if you're an AEMT and you can give cardiac meds, you can do that here in New Jersey, again, as long as you're placarded as an ALS vehicle. If you're on a BLS vehicle, you can't do it, okay? Because it's just like being on anything. That vehicle is not licensed to do advanced care, if you want to think of it that way. As far as cessation of efforts, everybody received a sheet of paper yesterday when you checked in or the day before. And there is a medical command phone number. That's not my cricket. There is a medical command phone number for cessation of efforts, and that is our GMR physicians that are now contracted to do that. They're licensed in the state of New York, New Jersey, and they are licensed to be able to sign the death certificates at that point. So that is the number you call now for cessation of efforts. And then, I'll be at the fifth wheel, which is across from the Glamour Palace, and I'll be able to answer any questions there for you as well. PCRs and refusals, remember, these charts are charts, folks. These are legal records. I know you guys are going to be going, hand over fist, call to call to call. I get it. But make sure you have dates, times, your placard number, your names, your level of certification, and anything you do for the patient, we need to document that, okay? Because let alone what we're doing here, as treating our patients, we're gonna get information from this to be able to do something for the next pandemic that we have. And we need to be able to have that information to get good data. At some point, we will have a nurse practitioner or a PA here to be able to assess any physical needs you have or even emotional needs you may have. We do have contact information for those. So not only our network providers, but also our GMR family that's here as well, that we have those resources for you. If you got here and you found out that, hey, my high blood pressure medicine, I forgot to refill it before I left, the easiest way to do that is to contact your local pharmacy where you typically get your meds filled. They can transfer your prescription to a known pharmacy, so like a CVS or Walgreens or any of those, and I don't have stock in either one of those, so I'm not saying those. But they can transfer that prescription. That'll save having to go to the nurse practitioner. If you have any issues with that, then definitely come to us, and we'll get you hooked up with that person and try to get a refill for you. You guys also have gotten the medical phone number for the Logis phones. Call that if you have any questions. We got people day, night. Aerosolizing procedures. So an aerosolizing procedure is an intubation, CPAP/BiPAP, or giving a nebulizer. Try to avoid doing that if all possible. If you need to do, if you are going to put an airway in somebody, I would prefer to be a supraglottic airway, a king, or whatever other magical ones you have. We do have replacement kings, I believe, now. So use those as your airway of choice. I know you're still going to be aerosolizing as you're fiddling with the bag mouth mask, but it's still going to be limit your exposure. And that's one big thing we need to look at for everybody. Soon we should have a triage to home or stay home waiver, or algorithm, and that's being vetted by the GMR physicians now. They just got it to them last night, and basically what that'll say, if you've got just a fever, stay home. They're not going to be able to treat you probably for 3 days in the ER. You don't need to be exposed to those other illnesses that are there. It could be just some other viral thing. Stay home. This is what you do when you're home. And so as soon as we get that, my guess is we can probably push out to all the Logis phones, and that document will be there for you guys to have there. Controlled substances. So besides being the medical dude, I'm also the candy man. So we will, as soon as those come in, they will be at the fifth wheel. And so those trucks that are ALS placarded that need those medications, we'll send a flare up or something. We'll let you guys know that we have them, and then we're able to start distributing them at that point. I think that's the big pieces I have.
All right, so staging. Essentially, you guys, we're going to be starting a ready line. So we want 3 BLS volunteers, 3 ALS volunteers. You'll be next up for calls. As far as staging's going to go, we need you back in your spots, right where I had you before, as close as you can if possible. You need to be coming back fully fueled. We only want the rigs running for a few minutes at a time. If you need to charge the batteries, especially some of our cash stuff, I know they're sitting. Run it for 20 minutes. If it turns off, if we need to run it longer, then we will. We're just trying to conserve fuel and not have you guys breathing CO for hours at a time. That's really it. If you have any questions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Casey Jones. I'm the safety officer for this deployment. Everyone should have my number on the sheets that were handed out. I have both a Logis phone and a personal phone. Feel free to contact me on that. Just wanted to reiterate a couple quick points that some of the others have already touched on. I'm not sure how many of you come from the inter-facility transport world, or are fairly new to EMS, or maybe run 911 in your local communities, wherever they may be. If
you have not done inner city or urban, high population 911, this is a different animal, and just be aware of that. Work as a team, watch each other's back. Get your head out of your phone in the right front seat and help your partner drive and get to locations. You're gonna run hard and you're gonna go pretty consistent for your entire shift, so take care of each other. Make sure you're hydrated. Wear your mask. You'll hear me nagging on that all the time. Please do that. New Jersey actually has an executive order from the governor saying when you're out in public, you have your mask on. So in the ambulance, and I realize that we all think there are EMS agencies for the safety zone and that we're protected there. Social distancing, wear your mask, things like that. Do your temperature checks every morning and your wellness checks. And make sure that you scan that in before you're coming on shift, and then when you come back to the hotel that night. So the bottom line, this is a different environment. If you have any previous expectations or preconceived notions, those will probably get tossed out the window real soon. After we get up and running again and get everybody stationed, I will be roaming with your task force leaders both day and night. Just come around, talking to you, making sure everything's okay. If you have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to me on either phone or get with your task force leaders, and they can get a hold of me. They all have my numbers too. But again, don't hesitate to call or reach out if you have a question or a concern. And again, thank you guys for being here.
Great, thank you all. We will, we'll have the opportunity also to ask questions here in a few minutes. I do want to introduce a couple of guests that we have here. Devin Cairns from FEMA Region 2. Thank you. Obviously, FEMA is the one that helps make this happen, so we appreciate FEMA support and of course, the region. We also have Don Trapeze from New York State Department of Health. He is here also, he's in the back, there we go. Thank you, sir, for everything you're doing on the other side of the river. He has experienced about 400 or 500 of your units over on the other side of the river as well, so thank you for being here. Two of the biggest system users that we have are our Newark system. You heard from Director Grembowick, but Terry, do you have any comments you'd like to make? Or Terry Hoban from University Hospital.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to New Jersey. So one of the things we wanted to share with you guys, you heard this isn't a hurricane, it's not a flood, it's not your normal deployment. So what are you going to see? What's going to happen when you roll into any of these cities? Everyone has a little bit of a different protocol at their different hospitals, but what you're probably going to see is that an emergency room does not look like an emergency department. Everyone's wearing full PPE. They're wearing gowns, they're wearing respirators, they're wearing goggles, and they're wearing face shields. Those who are in direct patient contact will always have aprons or gowns on. Those that are outside or extrinsic from that may not be having, but they'll have the rest of the PPE in. It's very hard to communicate. All you see are eyes. You kind of look at people and say, why are you looking at me like that? But that's about all you have is that type of symbolism through their eyes. You have to speak clearly and slowly. And what you're going to find is we've had two rolls on that vehicle when you roll into a hospital. One's going to be back, maybe not full PPE, that has a respirator on and goggle protection, and the other is going to be full PPE as direct patient contact. Depending on the acuity, maybe both of you are doing that. Feel it out what agency you're going to or what hospitals you're going to be visiting. They are all different. In the 4 primaries in our areas, 3 of them are working differently. Almost all the ICUs in the urban area, I actually gave it away. Almost all the emergency departments in the urban areas are functioning like ICUs. So you have long-term ventilated patients in the emergency department. They've been there. You'll come back days later, you'll see the same patients in those beds. And one of two things either happens. You either find a bed, transfer them out to another facility, or they stay there, they get better, or unfortunately they expire. So this is a little bit of a shock. And we took this back from many of the people who came from the first deployment, from wave 1. They didn't realize what they were getting into when they walked into the emergency department, what they were seeing. Everything moves slowly. Like you heard the term, there's no emergency in a pandemic. You have to move slowly. You got PPE on, you can't see where you're going. You could trip. You've got sharps. You have medication. You want to make sure you're double checking because your vision is going to be disturbed by wearing 2 different levels of protection in your eyes. Just take it slow. Look very carefully. If you have a question, ask. Some of the hospitals, depending on the day that you're in rotation, may have had an increase, a surge. They may stop you at the curb. They may stop you in the outer door, and they're going to assess your patient. They're going to assess you. They're going to check your temperature. They may even ask you questions before you enter that facility. The same thing is going to happen for long-term facilities. So say you're deploying to a nursing home or an LTC. When you get there, you're going to find that they're not going to let you in until they scan you first. That's a normal protocol. I don't know how many in here have experienced that from their home state. How about everybody seen that so far? See, that should not be too unfamiliar to you guys. One thing just to understand is these ERs are overwhelmed. Their goal is to try to get patients either home, so they're triaging outside in tents. So the majority of the large-scale facilities that you're going to be working in northern New Jersey have tent assessment stations. They are not open 24/7. They're open about 8 to 10 hours a day, depending on staffing. If staffing drops in the emergency department, they have to close the tent. So then their next line of defense are the doors that enter either through the main ER entrance, outpatient-like entrance, or the ER walk-in, or the ER ambulance entrance. And they have to stage them up with triage stations. Their hope is when it normally happens, you bring a patient by ambulance, you're not going to go to the tent necessarily. You may be redirected, though, depending on the volume in the ER. It sounds confusing. Just follow the direction. The guys that have been here for what, 7 days now? They are absolute technical experts now. Talk to them. They'll tell you exactly what they've experienced, what they've done, what they've seen, what they've heard. And then the sponsoring agencies that you'll be assigned to, guys like me, guys like John, etc., will help you guys through it. We'll have briefings every morning before you start your operational period. We just guys want you to be safe, all right? Everyone goes home. That's the most important thing. Just please be careful out there.
Thanks, Terry. Just so you know, I worked with Terry down in the U.S. Virgin Islands on a deployment, and we thought that was shit. Sorry. This is it. You know, this is the big game. So, again, watch out for each other. Watch out for your partners. Watch out for yourself. Jamie Trevor is the other large user of many of the assets with Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health. Would you like to say anything, Jamie?
You know what? For those of you who are coming to Jersey City or for the Robert Wood system, we do the same thing. We brief in the morning and fill you in on everything when we get there. Too much, too fast. We'll do it down there.
And I will say, for those of you from the southern states, our dispatchers are doing a phenomenal job. That's called JOB. In all seriousness, they were stressed when everyone arrived. And the job that, especially the university and the Med Central folks at Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health, these guys are your lifesavers. So make sure that if you need directions or you need something spelled out, just ask. Okay? They will, and you'll hear it. And we love hearing the southern draws back. So, you know, and you will hear some of the soprano type accents across your radio. So know that is coming. All right, enough. Terry Clancy is our director. She wants to talk about some local state protocols, correct? You feel good? Oh. Good deal. All right, so I would like to ask that if you have any group questions, we'll take a few. If anybody has something urgent or large spread, but before I get there, I did forget one thing. Mental health. The State Department of Health has put out a bunch of links for services available for mental health. In your hotel lobbies, you will also see signs from our disaster mental health response teams that have phone numbers, as well as a Zoom session that will be set up this week. If you're having problems, please talk to people. Talk to each other, talk to your supervisor, ask for help. We are all in this together. That's a hashtag I've been using for the last 7 weeks now, but we are all in this together. We can't lose anybody because of this stupid virus. Okay? So let's remember that. All right, was there a question? Go ahead, sir.
Do we have any inline filters? Say we need to drop a king or intubate somebody that can go between the tube and the BVM so we can minimize the exposure?
No, we don't have the HMF filters right now. We are trying to get those, but just like at all of our bases, and they're hard to get right now. So again, procurement for GMR is working day and night on all the PPE supplies, and they've been doing a phenomenal job. I can't thank David Twist and Val Gator and the whole team back there, but HMEF filters, sorry, I wish we could.
So depending on where you are located, some of your host agencies may have some supplies available as well. It's going to depend on where you are in the state, just like PPE availability as well.
I mean, just like anything, if we don't want to lose Pete, you want to clamp the tube, we're going to be swapping people over. So if you do have, be careful with the regular hemostats because they actually have the ones for the tubes. I can talk to Ed and see if we can get anything, and so we'll be available with logistics if we're able to get it, okay?
Sir, in the back.
Will replacement refusal forms and paperwork be made available in the logistics tent?
Yes, replacement paperwork is available in the logistics tent, the big white circus tent out there. All the way in the back, you're gonna have to speak up.
Are we working cardiac arrest, and if so, how are you want that done? If they're mixed reviews, or if we're working them or not, or how you-
Sure, working cardiac arrests.
Okay, so you heard GMR talk about your local protocols. So you should follow AHA guidelines. However, it's going to be based on some clinical judgment. If you walk in, I'm going to give you an example. Patient is asystolic. Witness downtime. I'm giving all. You could go into a whole bunch. The bottom line is, you really should not be working them if they're asystolic. Again, you have to use some clinical judgment. A lot of the areas, you can talk with them. Some of them are not working them for any more than 10 minutes. Some of them are working them for a minimum of 20 minutes as per AHA. So you're gonna have to use some clinical judgment. Obviously, if there's rigor, you should be pronouncing, as opposed to the patient that was just witnessed, COVID positive, a whole bunch of comorbidities. So you're gonna have to use some of that judgment, and I would also speak with your host agency just to see what their protocols are. But you should be following your local protocols. But talk with the host agencies, and they can also give you a little bit of guidance. Would you not agree? Okay.
If we got kind of our normal protocols, don't have to call quarters to say POA, we still have to do that here.
If you have to call, so if you work a patient and you need to not pronounce,
Or if you walk in and you're gonna pronounce them, you still have to call for medical quarters to get.
you're gonna need a pronouncement, yes. So the pronouncements of death, is on, a phone number, they get this, correct? Yeah, it's 833-633-2875.
Now we contacting quarters.
You are not. Nope.
Can you say that?